Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to video 12 in my series Think and Grow Rich. And this video is all about chapter 11 in Napoleon Hill's book, which is about the mystery of sex transmutation. I know, I said the word sex. I couldn't believe it either when I read the title for this chapter. I thought to myself, wait a minute, what does sex has to do with Think and Grow Rich? How is that relate to creating wealth? And then I thought to myself, wait a minute, Napoleon Hill, are you using the word sex to get more attention, just to get more people to read your book? What is going on here? But as I started to read and I progressed along with this chapter, I realized that this is actually not about the act of sex. This chapter is about how you can harness the power of sex to unleash a superpower that is within you that enables you to create wealth, enables you basically to turn what you wish to have into a reality. And before we jump into the content of this chapter, I want to first apologize for all the beautiful ladies out there that are watching this video, because in this video, you hear me referring to men, and I'll do that because Napoleon Hill basically wrote the book for men, and everything he writes is for men. And I want to quote him on a few things and use his definition to different terms. And so whenever you hear me say the word men, just imagine that I'm saying men and women, or maybe just women if you wish to. Anyway, obviously you are included in that. So let's jump into this chapter. So firstly, I said that the title for this chapter is The Mystery of Sex Transmutation. So what is even the meaning of the word transmutation, which I struggle to pronounce? So this word basically means to transfer one element or a form of energy into another. And in this chapter, the Napoleon Hill refers to our ability to transmute the desire to sex for other activities that enrich body, mind, and soul and help us achieve what we desire to have. And as you probably very well aware, the desire to have sex is a very strong biological urge that we have. As humans, we are designed to reproduce, and that's why this is such a strong biological urge. And if you think about stories from history, or stories from the news, or maybe stories from your friend and family members, then you'll notice that some men will go to quite an extended length in order to have sex. Some of them will risk their reputation in order to have sex. Some of them will do courageous things that otherwise they wouldn't dare do at all. Some of them might do illegal stuff in order to have sex. And some might even risk their lives in order to have sex. So this desire is so strong that it changes the way people think. It really influences the way of thinking and the activities that people are willing to do. And so this is why it's such a powerful force that we can use to transmute so we can achieve other things that we desire to have. And so Napoleon Hill says that the desire for sex creates a specific state of mind, and this state of mind can either be used for the physical act, the physical expression of sex, or you can use it by transmuting it to transform things from being mediocre into genius. All of that by the process of transmutation, by harnessing that power. And he continued to say that actually a scientific research that discovered two things. The first thing that research discovered is that men of great achievement have learned how to transmute sex energy into energy that helps them increase their imagination, creativity, courage, and the ability to create wealth. And the second thing that science has discovered, as per Napoleon Hill, is that the men who achieved great fortune and success in different industries have been motivated by the influence of a woman. So he says whenever a man is successful, it's because of some women that is in his life that kind of inspire him to do all these great things and achieve greatness. So as the song says, behind every successful man, there is a wonderful woman. So basically what he says that if you're able to transmute that power, that drive, that urge into other areas, it will lift you up to greatness. Basically, it will help you kind of become like a genius in your space, in the area or industry you operate in. And the reason for that is because it's impact the way you think, right? And it actually helps you to activate a creative, imaginative thinking. And if you think about previous videos, previous chapters in this book, it's very easy to see the connection, because Napoleon Hill mentioned that it's not enough to wish to have a lot of wealth. Let's say I'm thinking, hey, I want to earn $500,000 a year. I really wish to have it. It's not enough to wish and hope for that. But in order to make it a reality, I have to make a plan as to how I'm going to make it happen. I have to come up with a detailed plan to use my creative thinking and think about, okay, what are the steps that I need to do in order to achieve that goal that I have, that wish that I have. And then when you start working on the plan, on this plan, when you start actioning the different steps that you wrote, obviously you will encounter challenges, right? Because this is life, right? We move from one challenge to another. Nothing is ever smooth, nothing is ever easy. We always have hurdles and obstacles. And so when you reach a challenge, the way to overcome this challenge is by using your creative thinking, your imagination, to find innovative solution to that problem so you can move forward. Or if you completely stuck, sometimes it happened that you came up with a plan, but that plan wasn't good enough. And when you realize that, again, you need to apply your creative thinking and imagination in order to come up with a new plan, a better way to achieve what you wish to have. And so this is why being able to think creatively and to imagine and come up with innovative solution is so critical to our ability to take the desire that we have to, let's say, accumulate some wealth and turn it into a reality. And basically what Napoleon Hill says in this chapter is that if we transmute that energy that arises from the desire to have sex and divert it into what we want to achieve, the wealth we want to create. So it enables us to find ways to do so, to come up with creative ideas as how we're going to make it happen. Then we'll achieve greatness. This is what will enable us to achieve our goal and become very wealthy. So Napoleon Hill talks about this chapter about different ways to stimulate thinking and help us think in creative ways. He mentioned 10 things that impact our thinking, and I'll go over them now. So the first one is the desire for sex expression. As I mentioned before, this is a strong urge that impacts our thinking. The second one is love, whether it's love, a romantic love for a partner, or love for our children, or love for our friends, or maybe love for God. This love actually has the ability to impact our thinking in a profound way and help us think creatively, think better, and come up with different solutions to our problems. And then number 3 is a burning desire for fame, power, or money. So that burning desire also carries a lot of power and energy and enables us to think better, to think more creatively. Number 4 is music, the impact of listening to music on our brain. This is also has the power to stimulate our thinking and creativity. Number 5 is friendships. So having friends, having conversation with them, hanging out with them, help us also to stimulate our thinking and think in different ways. Because we hear their diverse thinking, their inputs, their insights, and that help us think better. Okay, number 6 is a mastermind alliance. As I mentioned in the previous video, you can go back and watch it if you missed it. So having a mastermind group help us lift our way of thinking, and basically two minds become three. So when we are part of a group of a mastermind group, we can think much better than we can do on our own. And number 7 is mutual suffering, such as experienced by people who are prosecuted. So when there are a few people who are prosecuted, that situation actually trigger and stimulate a different way of thinking. And number 8 is repeating empowering thoughts. And there is a video on that as well, if you go back to previous videos, where the way you think really impact the way you can come up with creative solution. With your thoughts, you can either empower you if you think in positive, empowering thoughts, and you can also disempower you if you think in negative thoughts. So your repeating thoughts carry a lot of power in terms of what kind of thinking it stimulates. And that's why it's so important to pay attention to our thoughts and make sure that what we think empower us and help us create the future we desire to have. Number 9 is fears. So obviously when we have fears, they impact our thinking in a very negative way, actually. Nothing good comes out of fearful thinking and taking action out of fear. And number 10 is drugs and alcohol, which also impact the way we think. It stimulates thinking in a different way. So as you can see, out of these 10 things, 8 are kind of natural and constructive, and 2 are quite destructive. Obviously, taking drugs and alcohol is not something anyone will recommend. It's really destructive for your health and well-being. And so these are the 10 things that really impact your thinking. It stimulates your thinking and can help you come up with different thoughts and creative ideas. And number 1 is the desire for sex, because this is the most powerful force that we have that changing our thinking. And this is why it's so important to learn how to transmute this desire and kind of channel that strong energy that we feel as an urge to have sex, and channel it into other areas. For example, if you want to achieve wealth, you can channel that energy to think about, okay, what can I do to make it happen? How can I think creatively in order to achieve my goal? How can I create a better plan so I'll achieve wealth and success? So basically what Napoleon Hill says is that once you can do it, it's not easy. So you need quite willpower in order to be able to do it. You need to practice. But once you're able to do so, it will lift you up to a status of a genius, which is fantastic, right? So Napoleon Hill also adds a definition for a genius, just to make it clear for everyone. So I'm going to read the definition he provides for what is a genius. So he says, a man who has discovered how to increase the vibration of thoughts to the point where he can freely communicate with sources of knowledge not available through the ordinary rate of vibration of thought. So this is quite a quite a definition, and actually just by reading this definition, you probably have a lot of question of what does it even mean? I mean, what is this source of knowledge which is not available through ordinary rate of vibration of thought? There's a lot of question around this definition. And so he continues and explain what he means by this definition. So what he says that basically he referred to having a sixth sense, that transmutation enables us to access our sixth sense, which he says science kind of agree that it exists. And that sixth sense is basically creative imagination. And genius is developed through the sixth sense, through our ability to access our creative imagination. And it says that many people actually fail to access it throughout their life. They don't know how to access that superpower within them. And so they live kind of a mediocre life. And he says, if you look at all the geniuses in history, if you kind of explore their achievement, let's say look at inventor, you'll see that they were able to access their creative imagination in an amazing way, right? This is how they came with all the amazing ideas that they had, with all the revolutionary ideas, with ideas that others thought that are completely crazy, right? And so this is kind of what differentiates being a genius and not. It's your ability to access that sixth sense, which is about creative imagination. And the good news about it is that you can actually create your, you can actually nurture your creativity and imagination. There are actually things you can do to develop this skill. And later I'll create more videos on how you can nurture your creative thinking and innovative mindset. So if you haven't done so already, subscribe to this channel so you'll be notified once these videos are here. And I'll also add a link to them to the description of this video so you can check it out. It might be there already, depends on when you watch this video. So this is the great news, that you can develop your creative thinking and innovative mindset, and so you can have better access to your creative imagination, which is the key to be able to create the life that you desire to have. So if we continue to look at Napoleon Hill definition for genius, he also mentioned infinite intelligence. So we'll be able to access infinite intelligence. So what does it even mean? So infinite intelligence is the force that gives order and origin to everything in the entire universe. This is the prime source, right? This is the first cause of everything that comes to existence, including you. So it depends on what you believe in. Maybe if you believe in God, then this is God. If you call it the universe, then this is the universe. But basically, it is that force that is much bigger than us, that exists and drive things in the universe, that creates things in the universe. And so by developing that sixth sense, we can, with our finite mind, obviously our mind is finite with what we can do with it, we can directly access that infinite intelligence of God or the universe, whatever you choose to call it. And that's why it's so important to develop that creative imagination, because it provides us with that access. And this is how we get hunches, or suddenly we think of an idea that we didn't think about before. This is a way to basically increase our ability to innovate and create and imagine new things. And so this is why it's so critical to develop that sixth sense, because that will enable us to bring into life what we wish to have, to realize our dreams. Okay, so this is basically what this chapter is about. It's about how you can harness or channel that sex drive that you have, that sex energy, into developing your creative imagination, how you can use that in order to nurture your sixth sense and your ability to connect with a higher force that can help you come up with ideas and be more creative. And also there are things you can do on your own to develop your creativity, which, as I mentioned before, check the description below for links for it, and also subscribe so you'll get a notification once I'll create the videos on how you can nurture your creative thinking and innovative mindset. Okay, so this is it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.